Coming up on BCN today. A September winter storm shuts down most of Lethbridge, but the city's not too worried about the flooding aftermath. Orange Shirt Day was canceled in Lethbridge but carried on in other areas of our province. And meet the 6-year-old who shovels snow for low-income seniors and the disabled free of charge. Warning, contains cuteness.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, thanks for joining us on this first day of October. It was called Snow-tember as 45 to 65 centimeters of snow dumped on the city of Lethbridge for 2 days straight. The snowfall has finally stopped now, but our city is still experiencing mountains of packed snow, icy roads, and lower speed limits on this Tuesday. The folks from Environment Canada say many areas across southwestern Alberta were hit hard Sunday and Monday. Waterton Lakes National Park hit close to 100 centimeters of snow. Pincher Creek also had their fair share of snow. As for Lethbridge, did we hit a record for snowfall?
So up until this time, or early this morning, we've had 45 to 55 centimeters total reported to us. Certainly not the snowiest September on record by any means. The day in September with the most snow on record occurred in 1968 on September 21st, and it was with a total snowfall of 51.1 centimeters in a day. This event spanned greater than 1 day, so these amounts are event totals, they're not a day total. In fact, that event, which was in 1968, had quite a lot of snow. I think it was over 100 centimeters of snow fell with that event in 1968, so certainly not the snowiest September on record.
It might not have been a record, but by Monday morning, Lethbridge police were advising motorists not to use the roads since they were quite treacherous. Snow plows and sanding trucks were out clearing the priority routes. Some cars ended up in the ditch while others, including big rigs, got stuck on some of the side streets. The city of Lethbridge also had to deal with various power outages affecting thousands of homes in both the north and the south parts of the city. All schools and post-secondaries were closed. The airport was shut down as there were flight cancellations, and city transit buses stopped running as well.
We contracted out, so we called all of our local contractors and are very thankful that they all picked up the phone. And we brought in 7 graders to start windrowing all of the priority 1, 2, and 3 roads that you see now are windrowed in and around Lethbridge. We had as much snow in the last 2 days as we did all of last spring, so that was interesting. It really wasn't that expensive an event, all things considered. I mean, we had to work staff more than we normally would. There was some overtime. But I mean, renting the graders, I think it was well worth it, and we'll fit it in the budget either way, because there was no way we weren't getting those roads opened up for everyone.
We know that there are trees down on lines that we don't know about yet, and they just haven't created a fault scenario yet, and they will. But having said that, we have 5 crews out right now clearing trees and attending to anything that's been reported through 311.
For residents, they should pay attention to the melting around their house and try to keep the water free to flow away from your home so that you don't have flooding of your foundation.
The 2 incidents that really pop out for me, we had 2 car fires during the snowstorm. People were pushing their cars a little too hard, spinning their tires excessively, and actually caused car fires. We were able to get the car fires out, but we also got a couple of fire trucks stuck. So we were able to get them extricated. We've had a couple of ambulances having some issues getting in and out of residential areas. So again, if you see them out there having some trouble, by all means grab a shovel and give us a hand.
Fortunately, when the weather like this hits, we find it actually paralyzes the city, and actually we haven't been that busy that we know of. Obviously there's crime that we know about and there's crime that we don't know about. So from the standpoint to this point, actually the city's been fairly crippled. So that's actually affected us from not being as busy as we normally would be. Our calls of service are slightly down. We've had some issues within the city with, we had a power outage on Mayor McGrath Drive, I think, that affected some traffic here yesterday. But beyond that, things are running fairly smooth for us from a police standpoint.
The city says they're not overly worried about flooding from the melting snow because the warmer weather will be gradual and we're not expected to hit higher temperatures until later this week. As you can imagine, Alberta Motor Association was operating all hands on deck. Both Sunday and Monday, they received double their normal call volume. And by Monday morning, if you had to call for a boost or get your car towed, you might have waited 16 hours before seeing a tow truck.
That's a bit of a disconnect from our normal wait time that's usually around, 60 minutes or so. And a lot of that has to do with, obviously, the snow. And so when we see that volume of snow in those areas, it does hinder our ability to move around. So mobility becomes an issue, not only for motorists out there, but for our tow trucks as well. So what a lot of our trucks have been doing, they've been going out and actually rescuing members from those areas, bringing them back to a safe place. And when it's deemed safe to do so, they'll go back out and tow those vehicles back in. So hopefully within the next 24 to 36 hours, if the weather cooperates with us, until that point, it's still going to be all available operators, all available tow trucks are going to be out there, making sure we can get to everybody as quickly and as safely as possible.
Despite the snowfall, it was business as usual, according to the Crowsnest Pass RCMP, Sergeant Gregory Wiebe. Wiebe says not a single city service was canceled and there were no reported collisions causing injury or vehicle damage at the time that we spoke with him. Wiebe also shared some tips as to what you should do if you see a transport truck on the road during a storm.
You know what, by and large, the bigger trucks usually don't form a lot of a problem for us. But certainly when you're driving in snowy conditions, driving in close proximity to these large trucks, visibility is next to nothing behind them. And then if you're going to try and get out and pass them in these conditions, you can lose control and whatnot. So best to stay put and give vehicles distance. If a truck in front of you is driving slower, sometimes it's just best to slow your speed with traffic instead of trying to make that pass where you don't have visibility.
Some areas of the Crowsnest Pass, Pincher Creek, and Waterton saw up to 100 centimeters of snow. Despite Monday being a total whiteout, there was also a lot of orange happening around the province. Orange Shirt Day was a time to honor those in our Indigenous community and remember the 12,000 residential school survivors and their families who live in Alberta. Indigenous Minister Rick Wilson released a statement about Orange Shirt Day. He says, quote, "We put on orange shirts to honor survivors' experiences and to acknowledge the tragic past. Each one of us bears a responsibility to support safe and inclusive environments for generations of children to come." The 60s scoop is when thousands of Indigenous children were taken from their families and communities for placement in foster homes or adoption. It began in the late 1950s and persisted into the 80s. The federal election is just 3 weeks away. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is campaigning again in BC today. Singh says his party would add 500,000 childcare spaces across the country and would try to cap the price at $10 a day per child. He says the program would include training more early childhood educators and would see that they made a decent wage.
Our commitment is this. We want to put forward $10 billion over the next 4 years to build 500,000 new affordable childcare spots, licensed childcare spots across this country. Because 1 in 4 kids under 6 have childcare, but that means 3 out of 4 kids do not. This is really difficult for so many families.
During a campaign stop in Toronto this morning, Conservative leader Andrew Shearer accused Justin Trudeau of being a weak leader when it comes to foreign policy. Shearer is also promising a Conservative government would make it easier for thousands of people to get a federal disability tax credit.
As part of this act, we will make it easier for Canadians with disabilities to qualify for the disability tax credit. By reducing the number of hours spent every week on life-sustaining therapy needed to qualify from 14 to 10. With our changes, 35,000 more Canadians will be eligible for tax savings of $2,100 a year.
Meanwhile, Liberal leader Justin Trudeau is holding a round table on gun control with Toronto area mayors today. Trudeau says the direction the federal government will take on guns is a clear distinction between his party and the Conservatives. The Liberal plan includes outlawing the semi-automatic AR-15, a variety of gun that was used in many recent U.S. mass shootings, as well as a buyback program for legally purchased assault rifles.
We are moving forward in tangible ways that is going to counter gun violence. We made deeper background checks. We've made measures in place through our commitments in C-71 to make safe transport a more controlled element. There are many measures that we've taken to strengthen gun control over the past 4 years, and we will continue.
Well, the snow looks like it's behind us for now. Warmer temperatures are on the horizon, and we'll even see some double digits coming up this week. We've got a full look at weather coming up after the break. Plus, we meet a 6-year-old who's helping her community one shovel scoop at a time. Stay with us. Welcome back. Here are your weather highlights for today and tomorrow in Lethbridge. Lots of sunshine finally in the forecast. We saw a little bit lower temperatures this morning, -8, but it's climbing up to +4 today. +10 tomorrow with lots of sunshine as well. Looking ahead to the 5-day forecast, Thursday, lots of sunshine, 14 degrees. We're finally getting to those double digits there. Friday, +12. Saturday, 13. Sunday, 18-degree high. And look at Monday, guys. 23-degree high, lots of sunshine for the whole next 5 days. Where were you +23 yesterday when I was stuck at home? According to the Almanac, the average temperature for this time of year is 18 degrees. The average low is 3 degrees. The highest temperature on this day was back in 1957 with a +30-degree recorded at -9, and 1950 was the low. The sun rose this morning at 7:30 this morning, and it's going to set this evening at 7:11. So days getting shorter and shorter. Looking at the national forecast, West Coast, we're looking at Victoria with a high of 15 degrees with some sun and cloud. Partial sun and cloud also in Vancouver, 15 degrees. Lots of sunshine though in Alberta today. Edmonton, +10. 5 degrees in Calgary. Lots of sun, finally. In the prairies, Saskatoon, we're looking at +4 with mainly cloudy skies there. Lots of cloud coverage as well with chance of showers in Regina, +8 degrees. Winnipeg, +6 degrees with mainly cloudy skies over there. Over to our friends in the east, Toronto, we're going to see a risk of thunderstorms there with a high of 29 degrees. Thunderstorms also in Montreal and Ottawa, 23 in Ottawa, 20 degrees in Montreal. Stormy skies there over the east. Looking over into the Maritimes, Fredericton, mix of sun and cloud with chance of showers over there, +13 degrees. Mainly cloudy skies in Charlottetown with 12 degrees. And also lots of clouds in the sky in Halifax, 14-degree high. Up in St. John's, Newfoundland, we got a mix of sun and cloud with chance of showers, +9 there. That's a look at your weather forecast. Here's your community calendar.
Here is your Bridge City News community calendar. Award-winning author Daniel Handler, otherwise known as Lemony Snicket, will be the special guest speaker for the Lethbridge Public Library's Author Talk, book signing and Q&A session on Wednesday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. at the Yates Memorial Theatre. Admission is free, but tickets are required. Pick up yours today at the library's main branch customer service desk. For more information, visit lethlib.ca. Come out and support a worthy cause. The Blue Rain Ranch Animal Assisted Therapy Foundation Benefit Dinner and Auction is taking place on Saturday, October 19th at the Community Hall in Fort Macleod, with cocktails being served at 5:30 p.m. and dinner beginning at 6. Come dressed in your best Western wear and enjoy live music by Duo Grand Fiddle and Guitar. All proceeds to support access for low-income trauma and abuse victims to counseling and animal-assisted therapy. For tickets, call 403-894-9160. And for event details, visit bridgesofhope.com. The Galt Museum and Archives is hosting a Halloween Spooktacular on Saturday, October 26th from 1 to 4 p.m. Come for a family-friendly afternoon where you can play games, decorate a pumpkin, make a trick-or-treat bag, and other fun crafts. Plus, go on a tour of the building, hear spooky ghost stories, and enjoy free popcorn and caramel apple slices. Admission is free. For details, visit galtmuseum.com. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
Today's daily life hack tells you where to sit when sitting in front of the big silver screen. For the best sound in a movie theater, sit 2/3 of the way back and as close to the middle as possible. This is where the audio engineer sits when they do the final mix. I didn't know that. That's your daily life hack. And speaking of movie theaters, there are more great family flicks playing at the Movie Mill, including the Christian film Overcomer. With more, here is Len Binning with another Movie Mill Minute.
From across the pond, we have The Queen's Corgi, an animated film that was so fun, my granddaughter spent the evening role-playing. One would be the Queen, one would be the Corgi. It's a story about Max, a Corgi who goes missing from Buckingham Palace, and he's got to find his way back, including making his way through Dog Fight Club.
Our real battle is with fear.
I'm too fluffy to die.
We conquer it. We set ourselves free.
It may have a strange name, but the Peanut Butter Falcon is 2 thumbs up. Shia LaBeouf stars alongside Zach, an individual blessed with Down syndrome. He spends every day trying to escape from the nursing home because he has a dream of becoming a wrestler.
Tell her I'm gonna give you all of my wishes for my birthday.
I made a promise to him to give him that wrestling school in Aiden.
No, we're not gonna hop on your little raft and cruise around down the river.
Hey, Eleanor, I don't want to go home.
Oh!
And in the faith-based genre, we have Overcomer. John's dream of a state championship for his basketball team come crashing down when the local factory closes down and hundreds of families are moving away. He's reluctantly assigned to coach the track and field team, which has one sole member.
I had one girl show up and she's got asthma.
Oh, you mean Hannah Scott. Do you enjoy running?
It's really the only thing I'm good at.
Why have a season with one runner?
One runner matters.
The unforgiving winter dump was especially hard on low-income seniors and the disabled who have limited means when the weather is this bad. Video journalist Naveen Day discovered that there are those out there who can be a blessing to others, and those particular people come in all shapes, sizes, and ages.
Not all heroes wear capes. In fact, this one only carries a shovel. 6-year-old Emma Olson spends time bonding with her father by clearing snow for the disabled and low-income elderly, and she does it for free.
Just something we came up with last year. We wanted to spend some time together and doing something we like doing, or something she liked doing anyhow, and tried to incorporate it was like how we could help people or give back to the community or whatever, right? And she came up with the snow shoveling idea.
The duo charge a fee for those who do have the means to pay. Emma keeps a portion of the sales in a bank account that her father recently opened for her. She tells Bridge City News what she's saving up for.
To buy a Huggy Monkey and stuffies and a horse. A Huggy Monkey is a little bit of a big monkey, but it's a stuffy and it holds on to you. Sometimes I call it Huggy Monkey Never Let Go.
In a 2-day span, the pair has cleared snow for 7 homes. For Bridge City News, I'm Naveen Day.
I had no idea what a Huggy Monkey was before that. I think I want one too now. Well, prior to our big snowstorm, close to 100 people took to the streets of Lethbridge on the weekend to promote equality and raise awareness for people with disabilities. The 10th annual Citizen Walkabout started at City Hall and wrapped up at Galt Gardens on Friday. BCN's Loris Alexander attended the rally where residents raised awareness on accessibility.
Participants of the Citizen Walkabout carried signs with messages important to their everyday life. Everyone involved took the time to support one another and present a voice for people of all abilities.
Today we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Citizen Walkabout, and it's just so important to the community of Lethbridge to celebrate the different abilities that exist within our community. We have many individuals who live with a disability, but they have so many talents and gifts to bring to the table and to contribute to our community and make it a vibrant place. And so it's important to celebrate that today.
Mark Davids, Executive Director of the Southern Alberta Individualized Planning Association, says the City of Lethbridge has taken several measures to improve accessibility and has continuously supported the Citizen Walkabout.
Everyone has different skills and abilities, and everyone is valuable in one way or another. And so the City of Lethbridge does a really good job of trying to help people feel included, especially not just events in and around the city, but they've been recently working on things like the Mobility and Accessibility Master Plan, stuff like that. But there's always work to be done. It's one of those things where you always got to be vigilant, always got to be working at it to make sure that everyone is included and everyone has a chance to have a voice.
They still need to be worked on with a few buildings, but I think it's coming together, just making sure everybody can get in places with people with wheelchairs, walkers, and stuff, and even with the buses as well.
All proceeds raised will support the South Region Self-Advocacy Network. For Bridge City News, I'm Loris Alexander.
Thank you, Loris. Stay with us after the break as Hal Roberts speaks with an expert about turning garbage into electricity. Also, should Alberta separate from the rest of Canada? Hal has that interview with the leader of Wexit. That's all coming up after the break. Stay with us.